All right. Hello, everyone. Wanted to walk you through how to set up a Schoology conference and show you what it looks like both from a teacher and a student standpoint. Again, not at all an expert on how this works, but I wanted to show you because I think what we need to do for office hours moving forward is we do need to provide some collaborative open conference type sessions. And it could be through Schoology, it could be through Zoom, maybe Google Hangout, but allow students the opportunity to be able to log on, interact with peers, interact with their teachers, and continue building those solid relationships and have open forum discussion on, current events, what's going on, just checking in, and also discipline related conversations. I want to build in this as a staple of our office hours as we move forward. That way we have not just, communication written via email and messages and back and forth, but I think, as close to face and collaborative, uh, communication we can is going to be best, because what we do best is build relationships with kids, and we've got to find a way to tackle the current situation to make that happen. So this is just one of those methods. You're familiar with Zoom, but again, I've been stumbling around and playing with the Schoology conference page just because it's a one-stop shop for students just to stay on the same platform. So I'm going to share my screen with you and kind of walk you through how to set one up and what it looks like. All right, so again, using my page for the 20% time as an example, from the teacher's standpoint, off to the left, you're going to see, all the different features within Schoology. But in terms of setting up a conference, it's very easy. You click on conference, and then you go to create a new conference. So you just call this the demo conference. You set your start time, and I'll say that this is going to start at 10:30 a.m. and it's done. Now, students can't set up conferences, but they can join conferences. And the beauty is that they can't join a conference or start a conference until you do. So although you have stipulated that this will start at 10:30, you could start this before or after 10:30. That's really just to kind of help organize and get people aligned to when that session should be starting. From a student standpoint, if I go back to Chloe Buckskin and click on her courses in this 20% time, again, there's not necessarily a formal message that goes to this particular student related to the conference. However, if on the left-hand side, just like you can see conferences, the student can see conferences as well. And if they click on them, they will see the conference title and when it should start, but they'll also see that it hasn't started. Part of the communication piece, I think, helping us move forward and keeping transparent with students when we're holding these conferences is that if we go to our sections and we add an event in our calendars, I think that this would be very beneficial just to kind of keep everyone on the same page. So if I make a title saying, you know what, this is going to be the 20% open office collaboration or whatever you want to call it, I could save that to the calendar. And then when a student logs on to their particular Schoology course, again, the beauty is that they're going to see that in their upcoming events. So I think that just helps with the communication a little bit and ultimately helps us kind of move forward. So the student sees that, they're like, oh, okay, 10:30, we're having an open conference for 20%. I want to join, interact with my teachers, ask some questions, get some feedback. So the student will click on conference, and then they have to wait till you start it. So again, back to the teacher page. I've already set up the conference. Now I want to start it. It's very, very simple. You just click start conference, and it's about as simple as that. You verify that you want to use your microphone and audio. It's going to go through a test.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
And then here's the general format of what it looks like from a teacher. On the left-hand side, you're going to see users populate as students log in. You're also going to see a public chat that's open in the middle. But there's also a section for shared notes. So as people are taking notes, this populates for everybody that's in the class, which is kind of neat because you can then download those and share those out after it's all said and done. Within the main part of the screen, as you kind of hover over it, the kids are going to see where your cursor is, and it's going to have your name on it so that it's showing what you're trying to point out. You can share to make this a multi-user whiteboard, and all the kids can kind of interact with this. But then also you have a lot of different features in terms of what you can kind of access here. So you can upload a presentation, you can share a video, you can start a poll. The webcam by default is off, but if you want to include, web picture, you certainly can face to face. And again, you can mute yourself using this button. There were some other neat features here in terms of adding text. So as you scroll through this presentation piece, you can annotate, write notes, write text. And again, kids, if you have it as an interactive mode, kids can interact with that as well, which is a nice way to collaborate. Now I'm going to go back to Chloe and I'm going to join the session now. I'm going to refresh my page though to make sure that it works. So our session is in progress. If the student clicks on it, again, they join. They go through the same type of prompts in terms of making sure that their audio and video works. It's going to give them the same echo test. They click yes, and again, now they're in. But because the whiteboard is currently on multi-person interaction, Chloe Buckskin can interact with it at the same time that I can. Now, to mute people,
You are now muted.
you can go on. Let me mute myself.
You are now muted.
You can click and choose as the moderator, as the teacher, who you mute and who you unmute, which is kind of a nice feature. But then also, from a student perspective, if I clicked on myself as a student and I click set status, I can raise my hand, I can put different emoji type faces, I can put a thumbs up, thumbs down, I can interact. And when I put that emoji up on my name, again, as the instructor, I see that Chloe's hand's up and that kind of lets me, I can clear her status. That kind of guides me through, who might need help or who might have questions, or if we're trying to set group norms in terms of how to, effectively communicate while doing it, it ultimately helps. So these are just a few features from the teacher and student perspective. Again, as the teacher, I can block the shared annotation or not. It's really up to me. But I think that it's a great feature. Another thing that you can do is you can add a poll. So if I click start a poll, I can literally verbally or write a question in the public chat and ask students for feedback. So I can ask, students, do you feel like this is an easy, format to use to collaborate? And what happens is on the bottom of each student's screen, they're going to have polling options. They're going to have yes or no. So this student thinks, yeah, absolutely, this is an easy forum to use to collaborate. And then on my end, everyone in the chat that collects the data, I could publish polling results. And what happens is on their screen and my screen, I could see the answers to those responses. So these could be the gates for understanding. These could be, you can guide almost a review session in this, but it's an awesome opportunity to collaborate and interact verbally with our students, whether you're using, shared webcam or not. And the beauty is that this is all within the Schoology platform and very, very easy and user-friendly to use. You don't have to worry about having Zoom or going to an external thing or sharing codes. You can embed this in your calendar. You can hold the session, and then as students join during this kind of open collaborative office hours concept, we can now interact and continue to build those relationships. Possibilities are endless with this, but I wanted to walk you through how to set these up. More information to come in terms of what our expectations are in setting these up, but I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you offer these, at least 2-3 times a week where they're in there. You provide that opportunity for kids to check in. I think they're overly anxious and nervous and worried that they're not interacting regularly in school. I think this is a great outlet to connect with them, to reassure them that we're in this together, working forward, and to make forward progress. So if you have any further questions related to how to utilize this, please feel free to share your questions with me. Again, not an expert, but wanted to give you this option and give you this tool as an opportunity to connect with the students while we're still out.